moving on with that, welcome to a train wreck, aka the final qualifier race for SG Live 2021 for Link to the Past Randomizer. We have a few technical difficulties. You might notice we only have one runner at the moment. This is perfectly normal, except not at all. But it will correct itself in time, I am sure. Also, my co-commentator is currently MIA, so we might be doing a little solo cast for the time being. But this is definitely going to be a heck of a race between Jet082 and Andy. The mode is the SG Live casual boots with like a tweaked hard item pool. It's basically the same. There's just a few things, specifically like progressive bows and heart pieces are more evened out. But for the meat of it, for the meat and potatoes, it is just a regular hard boots. Yes, this is all Metroid Dread's fault. Definitely. But we are underway. Presumably Andy is also underway, but we won't know until his stream gets live. I think it was like a crash on OBS or something, so he will have a full recording and won't get disqualified or anything, but for the live stream, it's going to be a little off. And just like that, we already have 3 bombs, which is like the only thing you actually need to find in the entirety of Escape is bombs, and we get them in the first chest. Sweet. Freaking casual boots. Jet Seat is right. He's even here. Look at this. This is casual boots. So our runners start in the escape, have to go all the way through and save Zelda to move on. But we also start with a sword and the boots. This is a very comfortable equipment set for most runners, but especially for our more experienced runners with a speedrunning background. Yes, they don't need bombs in order to get to the back of escape, so it's not as critical as normal, but you do still want to find bombs. And with the sword, it's really easy to kill enemies and check price packs. So typically, even with boot start, you would still check price packs for the chance at getting bombs. Maybe not farm if it's like the small magic pack, which like 1 bomb, 5 drops in, but you know, if you get the bomb pack or the fairy pack, definitely worth. But not for our runners today, who just find bombs. Ooh, Jet already walking into the fallen chain guard. Very dangerous, but gets the 8 slashes done. No mirror, so we'll have to walk all the way back. We'll run, part of the way anyway. Ah, you missed a stairlight cancel there, Jet. Restart. Ah, I'll be okay. This is really awkward for me. I don't know if you guys can hear it in my voice. This is super weird. I only have 1 runner, nothing to talk about, and no one to talk to. I'm sure it'll be fine. We gotta push through the escape. Eventually, everything is going to be exciting again. Trust me. Here we can count all the times that Jet loses like single frames. He could have dashed right there. He could have canceled that dash better. No, I'm just teasing. He's doing very well. Doing very well, you guys. Talk about prize packs? Well, I would, except he's not going to check prize packs because we just found some bombs. What a world. Key logic? The small key had to be before that door. That is the entirety of key logic in the escape. Yeah, one door. That's it. Bonk! There we go. That was the most exciting thing to happen the entire escape. We bonked. Nice. Alright, that was a good race. Good job, everybody. Hey, a fire rod! That does nothing. Yes, it will do something later. I'm sure it'll be important later, but for now, nothing. Alright, Jet making it all the way through the escape in a very timely manner. 5:12 on the clock. Hey, the other fire source. Oh, we got all the fire. Let's go. Alright, very typical route here. Immediately checking bonk rocks following Sanctuary. For 20 whole rupees. Alright, and Jet will go up and check the Lumberjack. I've seen a lot of people skip this recently in this mode. Even going for the prize packs here. So coming out of the escape, you always have a tier 2 or a tier 3 prize pack because you had to kill 4+ enemies. So he pulls it to reset the tree, and then kills that one buzz blob. That'll set up a tier 1 pull, which he'll do in the Lost Woods. Can you guys not see Andy's game? That's not good. Have you tried squinting? I'm pretty sure it's there. You just have to look harder. Ooh, 300 rupees though. Very nice find for Jet. And we get a map check. That was a pendant at Hera, crystals at our other 2 Light World dungeons. Oh. So Jet sees the heart piece, tries to walk around it, and then realizes, oh yeah, that's right. I probably want to pick up heart pieces in this mode. So what they did with heart pieces and heart containers is we still have the regular 14 heart cap in Heart Item Pool, except they removed heart containers. So if you want to reach the 14, you have to pick up heart pieces. So with typical skips and just regular levels of clearing the game, it would be very difficult to actually reach 14 hearts in this mode. And if you want to get to 10 and 11 hearts, you're probably picking up every heart piece that you see. Blind's hideout just yielding the Moon Pearl. I'm sure Andy won't skip that. But how could we know for sure? We are now moving on to Kakariko. Well, it's nice having bombs coming into Kakariko. Oh, a hammer! Just one item away from Dark World access. That is not the item that gives us Dark World access. Bugnet, though? It means nothing. Already 4 heart pieces. That is a 33% increase in health. Basically easy mode. Another one just for good measure. That's in case you skipped that one in the Lost Hideout. We got the red boomerang. We just need the red cane now, right? And then that's all the red things. I guess red mail. But that's not happening. Only blue mail today. Nice rod. Alright, we're taking bets on Pendant or Pendant Turtle Rock, you guys. The mushroom is red, that's true. Oh, the other cane. Blue cane could definitely end up playing a part in this seed. You do often have less hearts than normal going into the Dark World dungeons. Having that safety item could make a difference. I can't make predictions, sorry. Alright, Jet heading on to South Shore. Looks like he's going to start with the dam. Lots of different ways you can route South Shore. I know a lot of people like to do dam to Ice Road Cave. I'd say that's probably the meta. That's what you'd expect most people to do. But there are other options. Like if you are super afraid of orphaning Agina, you might skip the dam and do mini Moldorm to Ice Rod and then come back later for dam to Agina. I've seen mini Moldorm to Agina and orphan Ice Rod Cave. Hope to do it with flipper checks later. So we'll see what Jet is going to do after these two checks. Probably head to mini Moldorm. Oh, wait, we got Dark World access. Very fast Dark World access immediately upon reaching South Shore. And Jet goes over to Mini Moldorm Cave anyway. This makes sense. Just 5 quick items, all Sphere 1. Why would you skip this? Nice tactical bomb there in the middle. There's our first bottle. We will only find 2 bottles at most, and they will always be empty in this game mode. Okay, and Jet is actually backtracking here. Going straight to the Dark World. Alright, I think this is a very aggressive move from Jet. Leaving behind both Ice Rod Cave and Agina's Cave, but, you know, those are probably empty, so probably not going to punish him. And he will have opportunities to work them in later. And we have Andy's stream now, and it looks like Andy went to South Shore first, because he already has that glove according to the tracker. And does not yet have a Moon Pearl. He does have 2 bottles, so I would think that means it's probably a bottle at Ice Rod Cave. Unless he went to Agina, but that seems less likely. But from Jet, we have this South Shore route, Hype Cave over to Dig Game. No Mitts, no Mirror, so probably going to have to save and quit here. Oh, Andy has a flute. Wonder where that was. Yeah, maybe Ice Arcade Flute and bottle on the, what's his face? Old Man, that's the one. I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. Alright, nothing over at Dig Game. Pretty much empty on the South Dark World. Ah, yeah, that's a good point. He doesn't have any money. He probably did fake flipper then. Go to Zora. That is likely where we find the flute then. Alright, but finding Dark World access in Kakariko definitely changes the route here for Andy. He's probably going to go into the Dark World here first. Or maybe that's why he didn't have any money, because he never found that 300. Huh. I have no idea, you guys. I have no idea. Yeah, it's not quite a difference of Zora money, though. Oh, Andy was going to the Dark World, but then realized he didn't activate the flute. I'll have to trust your math. It doesn't add up in my brain, but that's not really indicative of the truth. Yes, eventually Jet will go to the places that Andy has been, and we will find out where this flute and second bottle were. Alright, Jet opting for front of Skull Woods. You'll often see players skip this. But with the Fire Rod, that makes Mothula a viable place to go. I think you probably still see some players skip this just because our current equipment setup is not really conducive to a good Mothula fight. But Jet is pretty good at this game. Andy, however, going straight into Village of Outcasts, not checking out Skullwoods first. Oh, getting super rewarded though with a Master Sword. I mean, it doesn't really make Moth like easy or anything, but it's gonna be way easier than with the hammer or fighter sword. Or at least you'll have more options. And having to kill the Gibdo here, we need that key. One fewer Fire Rod shot available. Alright, so Jet has 4 Fire Rod shots, the hammer, and Fighter Sword slashes and spins. Opens with a spin, immediately bumps into him, that hurts! Alright, going for the hammer here. It's only 4 hammer hits to kill him, but it's very difficult to, yeah, that's unfortunate. It's very difficult to hit Mothula with a hammer in a way that is both consistent and safe. And on such few hearts, very small margin for error. I missed the bow. I didn't miss the bow. It's right there on the tracker. I mean, I didn't notice it or mention it in any way, but can you really blame me with that moth fight happening? Alright, well at least that death was intentional. All these things Andy's doing right now, though, Jet's going to do them. It's not a huge deal. Oh, Jet actually going to abandon the moth fight. I certainly don't blame him. That's a tough fight, and to already have died once. Gonna check the front here. Hopefully we do find both items so he can just put off Moth until the end of or until he's ready for red pendant. Red crystals anyway. I believe that is our first item, the Quake Medallion. You can see even Andy's playing it safe here on these grasshoppers. They hurt pretty much the same amount of damage as Moth. Except there's like 6 of them. Alright, both items in the front of Skullwoods. Jet gonna take another Death Warp here to get back to the front, and also to heal up a bit. Dying on the overworld is kind of really, really bad, so best to avoid that. Alright, so certainly a time loss going all the way to Mothula and not getting anything to show for it, but a lot better than going to Mothula multiple times and still getting nothing to show for it. It is a red crystal at Skullwoods, so he'll probably come back sooner rather than later. Probably around whenever he's ready to do Swamp. But Jet moving on to Village of Outcasts, where he will also find this bow that Andy has, and full clear Thieves Town. Thieves Town, a much more consistently safe dungeon, especially with the boots. Like, the most scary parts of this dungeon are the blind fight, which is completely trivialized with the blind script, which I'm sure Jet is very familiar with, and the grasshopper rooms, which are trivialized with the boots. So you can see Andy not having any trouble taking down blind here. 4-heart Thieves Town, basically free. Yes, to full clear Thieves Town, you would only need the hammer. Unless the small key is in the big chest, and then you don't even need the hammer. Although, interestingly, if the small key is in the big chest, then it's logically locked behind the hammer. It's very confusing. Oh, I guess we will never find out where that second bottle was, because Jet just found the other second bottle. If he finds like 5 rupees in Waterfall Parry, we'll suspiciously assume that was a bottle. Alright, and Andy done in Village of Outcasts, gonna move on to Skullwoods. This is gonna be a little tiny bit better for him. I mean, the Master Sword definitely helps a lot on Mothula. Doing spins with the Master Sword is the same damage as hitting with the hammer, but it's a lot easier to hit him with it. And if you get into a tight spot, you can always swing the sword, which is way safer than using the hammer. But the hammer is going to be the fastest way to kill Mothula, that's for sure. With Andy full clear in the front first, though, he may get both. No, it was the Quake in the big chest. Never mind. He'll have to go to the back to get the second item. The C in the corner stands for Crystal. It is a crystal dungeon. If it was not a crystal dungeon, it would be a P for pendant. This is a new feature that they added to the randomizer. When maps are not shuffled, you will see the C or P in the corner always, and when maps are shuffled, you will have to find the map first, and then you will see the C or P. You can see our runners just running over each other. Jet having a much easier time here in Thieves Town than in Skullwoods. Yeah, I believe the main goal for the CRP was accessibility for people who are either hard of hearing, forced to play without sound for some reason, or have an MSU where the differences between pendants and crystals are not as clear. It still will not tell you if it's a green pendant or a regular pendant, or a red crystal or regular crystal. Jet just 3 slashes away from victory. 1, 2, 3. Super easy. Alright, Andy going for a hammer opener. Oh, that's terrifying. Oh, there's 1 hit. 2, okay. Very nice fight from Andy. You can see that hammer, a very fast way to kill Mothula, but oh so dangerous. Andy's still looking for that second item. It'll be in the big chest back in the front. But that's it for Village Outcast for Jet. He's just saving and quitting. Makes sense. He's already been to the southern Darkworld checks, and he already went to Skull Woods. Where else is he gonna go? Oh, poor Andy. He was going for the Death Warp, but forgot that he caught a fairy earlier. Oh, that explains why he was so ready and willing to go for the hammer strats, because he could take like 6 hits instead of 2. Oh, nice Spear 1 Titan's Mitts. Thanks, game. Just go to Sahasra's hut. I know you found Darkworld access on South Shore, but maybe you should have gone to Sahasra's hut anyway, right? Although honestly, having the mitts earlier would not have helped us that much, because you King's Tomb and Mirrorless Smiths? No thank you. Probably not a big deal. And honestly, with Sahasra's hut is not a place very many people would have gone to before Darkworld access, because of how readily available the other glove was. And Andy appears to be headed towards Catfish. Now that's a play. I guess he can continue from Catfish on and just go straight into Pod. That's fair. And then with it being a qualifier, you know, being more conservative or thorough is definitely works in your favor, because it's not as important that you get like first place as long as you get a good placement compared to first place. Like your time, your par time. So I feel like qualifier strats are a lot more about not screwing up than they are about finding the god route. Catfish today, though, just a heart piece. Oh, Andy's saving quitting, not going to Pod. It was just Catfish. Interesting. I'm a little worried when he would do Pyramid, though. Yeah, because if he's going straight into Pod here, like, when are you going to Pyramid? I guess you only do it if you also do Pyramid Fairy. Yeah, see, I thought he would go south from Catfish, check Pyramid on the way to Pod, but just going straight to Pod. And Pyramid gets a little bit orphaned. Meanwhile, Jet making his way through Eastern Palace. Last item going to be on the boss. Haven't found anything else of note, though, since those Titan's Mitts. Oh, did we find a mirror? Okay. Alright, fine, whatever. I guess he got a mirror too. Maybe I should have checked the tracker before I opened my mouth. Mitts we found in Sahasrar's hut. People often put off the bow dungeons waiting for the mirror because they want to do Pod and Eastern together, right? But with the mirror being in Eastern, that is not really going to be an option today. The mirror does help a lot with routing in Pod, though, so that's definitely a overall time save for Jet coming to Eastern first like this. And we get a mushroom! 3 unique items over here. There's that red. And Jet just gonna walk on over to the Flute Spot 5 portal. Andy just skating on through Pod. Well, Andy's going to be at the forefront of our checks for the moment. Finding yet another fetch quest here on the Bode Lock side of Pod. Just a powder and a heart container. Alright, so 2 items in the front means that everything else has to be a small key. Alright, what else you got for us, Pod? Andy playing a little safe there, hammering the turtles so they don't bump him. Little small variations in the way the turtles move, sometimes it's hard to avoid the damage. Andy picking up extra rupees there, going out of his way for that. Maybe he hasn't done Zora. Again, we're not sure if he did Zora or not. His stream had some technical issues at the start, so we missed his whole early game. Still looking for good things in Pod. Finally found the big key. And Andy purposefully walking into that Kadongo. Doesn't get the full heal, thank goodness. God, it's so frustrating when that happens. Alright, our runner's on the same screen at the same time, but at very different points in the clear. Andy heading on to Helmasaur, Jet on his way to the back. Helmasaur is also a very dangerous boss. It's not super bad with like Master Sword, but like if you're playing a little aggressively or you just get super bad RNG in the final phase, you can lose your 6 hearts very, very fast. But with what we saw from Andy on Mothula, I think he's probably going to be fine. But you know, anything could happen. Just hold on to your pants, folks. Nice burn a dash to get through that room a little faster. All right, here we go. 17 hammer hits. Andy pulling the sword out. This is a bit safer. Oh, he sets up the spin speed. All right, so with spin speed, he can do upswings with the hammer at a much larger window. Like, it's a lot easier to get these upswings in very quickly. 17 hammer hits, and now just 4 hammer hits to kill the boss. Easy. No problem whatsoever. But did we really expect anything else? But that's it. Just the powder here. Nothing else to be found. Flippers, hookshot, and Samaria from Go mode. That sounds right. Potentially a medallion as well. We haven't actually seen the TR requirement yet. Alright, so already done pod. Andy will probably head over to Eastern now. Yep, there he goes. Alright, so here he will find the mirror and the mitts, pulling him up to up in line with Jet's equipment. Nice turtle room there from Jet. It's always nice when the turtles give you the movements that you want. The bottom two can sometimes just move really erratically and ruin everything. Alright, let's see how Jet's fight goes. He has a few more hearts than Andy. Like 2. So you can see the difference in the upswings here. Jet has to get a lot closer to Helmasaur in order to hit the mass with the hammer. And just going to go for Master Sword slashes on the back end. 8 slashes will do the job. Still very fast. Good job, Jet. Alright, so the big difference between our runners right now is Jet's death to Mothula is definitely going to be a time save. But also, he has not found this flute yet, which we assume is from the flipper checks. And with Jet having mitts and mirror and logical access to the mountain, we're probably not going to see the flipper checks for a little bit. But again, we did not see Andy's early game. When his stream was finally live, he just had a flute already. But Jet only, on South Shore, Jet only did the dam and mini Moldorm Cave. So no Ice Rod Cave, no Water Walks, no Agina's Cave. So any of those could have been the flute. But for now, it looks like Jet's going to head up the mountain. Which is very dense. The mountain here is very dense. You have Paradox Cave and Super Bunny and all that stuff. But there's still like a downside to this, right? Spike Cave isn't very fast, even though we can do it. Hera's a pendant. I can't do Ether Tablet. Hookshot Cave isn't full clearable unless you can hover. What if we find Samaria? Well, I hope we find Samaria. But if we do, then we're doing Turtle Rock, which I guess is good because it's a crystal. But nothing else available right now really looks quite as good as coming to the mountain. just a heart piece in Spectacle Rock Cave. Now we do want to pick up extra heart pieces, but maybe not one that far out of the way. Yeah, not surprising. We're skipping that. Alright, and there goes Eastern Palace for Andy. And hopefully he remembers to go over to the hospital site real quick. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, chat. Chat, uh-oh. So what I believe has happened is Andy's game or console crashed. Not sure as to the cause, but he lost progress since the last time he saved, which would be before the entirety of Eastern Palace. So he has chosen to forfeit from the race rather than continue with such a significant time loss. Alright, well, we started with only one runner, and we will finish with only one runner. Me and Jet going to the end. One comm, one runner, one chat. Let's go. And Jet has full cleared Pendant Hera. I'm not sure if there's an item in the basement. Yeah, Andy forfeited from this race. I don't know if that has any implication on his like qualifier standings. I would imagine he hasn't forfeited from any other race, so he's probably fine. He'll just drop this one. Flute was in Ice Rod Cave? Okay. Yeah, Jet skipped that. Okay, good. So you're probably fine. I'm sure you did pretty well in your other races. Alright, GG's to Andy, you guys. Jet, however, continuing on Death Mountain here. Alright, hold on. Before I say it, let me check the tracker. Okay, yes. So far, Jet has not found anything of note. But we still have Paradox Cave available. A lot of checks here. We might find something good. Yeah, it's a little concerning finding out that the flute was an Ice Rod Cave for Jet here. Because the flute's like one of the main things that would get you to go to Ice Rod Cave, and you know that's not going to happen. But if we do find the flippers, I imagine we'll see Jet route in Ice Rod Cave with the flipper checks. The mountain still pretty stingy here. I don't think we found anything. I believe there were 40 people in the race. Yes, Jet died to Mothula. He went to Skullwoods before Village of Outcasts, so he didn't have the Master Sword, and his fight just ended up not going very well. Alright, so Hookshot Cave is one of the concerning areas here. You can get one check. This is in logic to bonk over here, but the other checks require you to hover, which is not something everyone can do super consistently. Jet not even going to mess with it. Moving on. And our required medallion is Quake. We have that one. Yay. Can anyone tell me, did we leave an item behind in Hera? Was there an item in the basement? I was distracted at the time. There is an item in basement of Hera. So Jet is consciously deciding to skip that twice. The first time when in Hera, and then the second time as he leaves the mountain. It's a little surprising, honestly, that he wouldn't do it here with how bare the rest of the mountain was. But it may not mean very much. Okay, so Jet's headed over back to the Village of Outcasts portal, presumably for mirror checks and/or Smith sequence. We may see him do his Mothula refight now, since he's in the area. But until he has access to the Swamp Crystal, it's not really a big deal. Like, he can put that off for even longer and come back with, like, Tempered Sword or something. Okay, so skipping Graveyard Ledge. Well, at least skipping Graveyard Ledge is at least in line with the way he's routed thus far. You know, skipping Ice Road Cave, skipping Hera Basement, skip Graveyard Ledge too. Makes sense. Graveyard Ledge is pretty slow. Very out of the way. It's fitting though, right, you guys? This is fitting. This is the last qualifier. And it's devolved into one calm, one runner. What's going on? Ah, Andy, don't spoil Metroid Dread for people. Come on. How could you? Okay, you're fine now. You can go back to playing. You're good. Everything's fine. Clearly the showrunners assumed that you would just sit there on the Link to the Past screen for the rest of the race. That would have been the honorable thing to do. Alright, Smith sequence so far, not a whole bunch of stuff. Jet heading down to Cave 45 and then turning in our purple chest. Don't watch me. It makes me nervous. Hey, Flippers! Alright, so Flippers here is a very good thing for Jet. As long as he also routes an Ice Road Cave, which he should. He should route an Ice Road Cave. Typically in Randomizer, you don't skip something early and say, well, I guess I'm never doing that, right? Like, you skip it early thinking, alright, I'll do this later this time or in this situation. So I fully expect Jet to head over to Ice Road Cave very soon. We may actually see him continue on here from over to Agina's Cave, but that might be a little out of the way for him. Nope, he is doing it. This makes sense, okay. Yeah, Agina's Cave is a check like you think somebody else might have done early. So if you didn't do it early, then you do it at like the next convenient opportunity. And hopefully that way, you know, at worst you're even, but and ideally you actually checked it faster than the person who did it early. Just 20 rupees there. So Jet is opting to stay in the Dark World? Are we going into Hookless Swamp? That would be a little surprising. No, it's not crazy, but maybe a little surprising. Because like the flippers also opened up things that don't suck. Maybe he's just gonna blind check the whatchamacallit, island, the Hylia Island. That's what it looks like. Yeah. Okay, no swamp play. Okay. So he hasn't done the flipper checks yet, so he has no idea what's on this island. Oh, I thought he would blind check it. Okay. Oh, I see. He's gonna go up to Catfish. Now I understand. Alright, yeah, so he just goes up to Pyramid to Catfish here, and then mirrors over to the flipper checks. So this is bad, by the way. This is kind of bad, because you're not doing Ice Rod Cave now. Yes, Andy unfortunately had a console crash at the end of Eastern and lost all the progress he had made in that dungeon. That's a good point, Moonswing. We may not actually need the flute. It is possible that the flute will not be required this seed. But generally, having the flute is better than not having it, and it would be our currently our only access to desert, but we may find the book later. So I think for the time being, we are cautiously concerned at Jet never going to Ice Rod Cave. Because, yeah, if you're doing the flipper checks from this direction, you're not going into Ice Rod Cave until you're going to, like, Ice Palace or its last location. And we're probably not going to Ice Palace anytime soon. Well, he might if he doesn't get the flute. Because where else are you gonna go? Jet picking up some potions while he's turning in his mushroom. I've had people ask before, why would you buy a blue and a green when he had so much money? It's just faster. There's a delay before it'll let you buy the same potion again, so he just buys 2 different potions. Catfish we did already see from Andy. Not going to be a big reward here. You can definitely see our runners, well, our runner, picking up heart pieces you typically would see people skip in other game modes. They have a lot more value here with so few access to life. The problem is Ice Rock Cave will never be on the way with anything. It is closest to Ice Palace than it is to anything else, though. So if he does do Ice Rock Cave, it's either going to be as an isolated check or right before or after he goes into Ice Palace. But it will not feel on the way to him in the slightest. Oh, what? He's going to Ice Palace right now. Okay. Maybe that means he'll go over to Ice Road Cave. He's already so orphaned, or he's so bottlenecked. He has no choice. Yeah, this is an Ice Palace play. Alright, just go to Ice Road Cave first. Come on, Jet, go to Ice Road Cave first. Please. Jet? Oh, okay. Alright, this is rather unfortunate. Now, it is possible that the flute just doesn't lead to anything in the Mire area. We don't know. And Ice Palace might end up being the play after all. But, yeah, going to Pendant Ice Palace with less than full magic, no bombos, Master Sword, no cane, no hookshot, when there's just a flute sitting right there, doesn't look great. Item 1. There are 3 items here. Plus, the boss has green pendant. This is awkward, because the main things he's looking for are Hookshot and Samaria, and because of how Ice Palace's key logic works, it kind of makes Ice Palace the worst place to look for Kain and Samaria. It can still be here, it's just less likely to be here than other dungeons. But given Jet's current knowledge, Ice Palace does look like the best thing on the board. Yeah, I couldn't quite make that cycle there. Oh, you never get to see this strat anymore. The double bomb, it's very smooth. Alright, yeah, Jet just gonna go straight to the right side. Oftentimes you'll see players run over to the Freezor chest first. But, like, you pretty much always end up doing the right side anyway. Unless you just have, like, the luckiest dungeon ever. Or if you just hope the third item's on the boss and succeed. Like what happened, what was that, yesterday? I can't remember. Some race I commed recently where that happened. Alright, still looking for 2 more items in Ice Palace. Gonna pick up these extra pots here for more things. Just a small key, okay. Can we get a Kain and Samaria? That would be incredible. I think Kain, hands down, would be the absolute best thing for Jet to find. Oh, that's a good point. We should probably pay attention to key logic. I have a cheat sheet so we can keep up with it. So it was small key and big key on the right side, and we're still looking for one more small key. Yes, the P means pendant. No, Andy did not rage quit. His console crashed and he lost a lot of progress. And because he had already done well in 4 previous qualifiers, he didn't need to do well in this one. So it was okay if he forfeit. This one just gets the drop score. Alright, Jet doing a bomb jump here in order to get these last 2 checks before the boss. And there is our second small key. Okay, so 1 accessible small key and then big key, small key on the right side means none of this dungeon. Not 1 check in this dungeon is logically locked by the hookshot or the Canis Mario. So green pendant is still alive. Alright, little light on magic here. Jet's gonna have to drink his green potion. Yeah, the green one, there you go. He could drink the blue one too, it's just a little wasteful. Alright, get as much damage as he can with the rest of his magic, and then try to finish off the fight with Master Sword and or Hammer. This boss hits really hard, by the way. Like, 1 misstep and you're suddenly in heartbeat territory. Very nicely done from Jet. 20 rupees. Alright, so we got nothing. Nothing in Ice Palace. Green Pendant's still alive, and if he's ever going to go to Ice Rod Cave, if at any point in the seat he ever goes to Ice Rod Cave, it needs to be right now. Jet, please. Please, Jet. For the people. Hey, we're going to Ice Rod Cave. Okay, that's good. I mean, it's bad if Green Pendant's nothing. Regardless, it's too late if that's the case. But Green Pendant might be something, and he goes to Ice Rod Cave. That could be the answer. I could have had the flute for how long? That's a very distressing thing to happen. You make 1 little skip, your mom got scared. Can hookshot be on pedestal? Yes. Yes, it can. I mean, that's the out, right? Like, if the flute does lead to things, then that means that everyone else who found the flute won't be going to Ice Palace. So if Ice Palace ends up being required, this is actually kind of good for Jet. But only if. So Green Pendant and Pedestal are the only outs. And we're going to see Green Pendant right away. Do not blame him here. This makes sense. So, like, if this is empty, then Jet just realizes he full cleared the slowest possible Ice Palace for nothing. And Green Pendant is... just 10 arrows. Oh. Maybe Ped. Maybe Kane on Ped, I guess. Yeah, you're not feeling great here. Kane camping on pad. Oh yeah, good point. Dun, 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 dun. I mean, hookshot on ped would still be okay, but not great. So Andy told us that he was planning to come over to the Mire area before he even went to the mountain. So we can imagine that other people would have done the same thing if they also got the flute early, and we'll see how that would have played out for them. Very likely we're going to find something over here. We're still looking for Kane and hookshot for go mode. Kane would immediately get us a full clear of Turtle Rock, and the hookshot would immediately get us a full clear of Swamp Palace. But there's still some other things we haven't seen at all. No Graveyard Ledge has been checked. We have not seen Hera Basement yet. I'm not sure what Jet's qualifier score situation is like. There's a big sheet somewhere. Somebody could look at it if they really wanted to know. But yeah, if you haven't finished 4 qualifiers yet, then you kind of need to finish this one. But if this is his 5th qualifier, yeah, it's not a big deal if he doesn't do well, as long as he didn't completely bungle an earlier one. You're gonna make me look at it. You're not gonna look at it for me and tell me the information I wanted. Darn it! He's safe. Okay, yeah. So this isn't a big race for him. It's okay if this doesn't go very well. But yeah, I'm sure he would want it to go better than it is currently going. Alright, so far nothing in desert. So if we don't find something over here in Checkerboard Cave, what are our options? We can go into Caneless Mire, go to Hookless Swamp, go back for our isolated checks at Graveyard Ledge and Hera Basement. Am I missing anything? And you know, honestly, if those are the options available to other players, maybe everyone else also goes to Caneless Ice, and it's not even that big a deal that Jet did that. We are still alive. Did we not see checkerboard? I thought we hadn't checked checkerboard. Maybe we already checked it? It's hard for me to follow because there's so many different things for me to watch on the screen. So I do often miss things because of how complicated calming one runner is. The treasure chest games are not item locations. No, it's just a random chance to gain more money. Unless you mean the chess game inside Kakariko, the top left house in Kakariko, which is different than the other chess games. That one is an item location. That's a vanilla heart piece. Well, I don't know what the story is with checkerboard. Maybe somebody in chat remembers if he checked it or not. Typically, you would not check it before going into desert. He did not check it? Yeah, that's kind of unusual that he didn't check it. Maybe he just forgot. Yeah, we cannot full clear Mire. We can still get both items, it's possible, but if one of them's on the boss, we're stuck with just one. Well, I think the idea with cutscene chest here is that because we can't get to the boss, it's very likely that we're gonna have to full clear anyway, and it's faster to do cutscene chest the first time rather than to skip it and then have to come back. And he does get rewarded with finding one of the items there. Yeah, the other chests are quicker, but if you're gonna do cutscene chests anyway, it's faster to do it first. So it's just a gamble that the dungeon sucks, I guess. And he won! He won the gamble! But it looks like our second item is on the boss. So even if he had tried to skip cutscene chest, he would have gone back for it anyway. Okay, well, he didn't forget about Checkerboard Cave, he just chose not to do it before Mire. Yeah, so if this is progression, you feel kind of bad, because you probably wouldn't have gone into Mire if this was Cane or Hookshot. But it's nothing! Okay, no, this is good for Jet. Overall, because another runner who didn't completely orphan the flute probably goes to Ice Palace at this point, right? Like, Ice Palace is 4-item dungeon. Like, it sucks, but it's still dense. So you would expect somebody to do that, in which case they would be even with Jet at this point, minus the flute transitions. Yep, Hookless Swamp. It's pretty much the best thing you can do right now. Yeah, and the Modular Death, sure. Amusingly, Ice Palace was not Cane or Hookshot locked, but it was still empty. Thanks, game. Apparently, this is just a really good seed. Right, Swamp, a very undesirable dungeon to be in when you don't have a hookshot, but when your options are this thin, you are grateful. Grateful. Thank you, game, for allowing me to check left side Swamp without the hookshot. Because this is way better than going to Graveyard Ledge or Hera Basement. It is in logic to bonk in the first screen of Mire. That is in logic. Similarly, it is in logic to bonk to the first chest of Hookshot Cave. For those who are coming in now, Andy unfortunately forfeited about 40 minutes into the race. His console crashed on him, and he lost a fair amount of progress. So rather than, you know, doing the rest of the race 8 minutes behind, just decided to call it. Yes, this seed so far is not shaping up for a very fun time to be had, so I'm sure Andy is a lot happier playing Metroid Dread than continuing. Alright, Jet headed over to left side Swamp. Alright, so without the hookshot, this is a very tedious endeavor. Normally you drop down to one side and hookshot over to the other, but without, you drop down to one side and then climb all the way back up and drop down on the second side. Alright, this is our last check before we have to do something gross. As if this wasn't gross enough. Alright, hold on. There was one more check after all. Is anyone surprised by this? Oh, that's so unfortunate. Swamp was empty. Alright, so all Jet has left, unless I'm forgetting something, is Graveyard Ledge and Hera Basement. Hera Basement was on the way. Like, he skipped Hera Basement twice. Because he went up to Hera first on the mountain without the hookshot, right? And chose not to do it. And then he came back across the mountain for Spy Cave and did not mirror over and do it then either. So definitely makes a lot of sense to go to Graveyard Ledge first here. Because you would expect that, you know, someone did Hera Basement. But Graveyard Ledge was always gross to get to for everyone. Unless he, like, went to Bolus Eastern. But who would do that? No one. No one would ever do that. Oh no! It wasn't Graveyard Ledge. So that's bad. You know, this happened in the first qualifier too. There was progression to Hera Basement, and both of the runners on the restream skipped it. And like that's a pretty normal play in general. Like, you know, hair basement's super slow. If you have other things to do, why would you waste the time on it? It's probably nothing. But I think in a qualifier, it does make a lot of sense to do it. To spend the 90 seconds just to make sure it's not here, because the punishment for skipping progression is a lot higher than the punishment for doing it for nothing, right? But here in our 15th qualifier race, pretty much everyone is on their 5th race and doesn't super need a great score here. So maybe we'll see a lot more people skip it here than in the first one. No backup stream? I'm not sure what you mean. You mean like, does Andy have a backup stream, or does SpeedGaming have one? I guess the answer is no, either way. This is the only restream for this race. And unfortunately, one of our 2 runners had technical difficulties and had to forfeit. Kane and Samaria in Hera basement. No, they didn't have a backup runner ready to go. Like, you don't expect something like this to happen where your console just breaks. It's unfortunate, but we are pressing on. We are persevering. Constant vigilance. Also, let's full clear Turtle Rock. Yep, head hookshot, still alive. It's so unlikely, but yeah, it's possible. Alright, so in all likelihood, the hookshot's just in this dungeon, and if you went to Hera Basement, it's just a normal seed. But, there is an item on Vitreous. There is an item on Pedestal. Maybe this is a terrible seed no matter what you do. Yes, Andy's console unfortunately crashed, and he lost progress and chose to forfeit rather than replay the last 8 minutes. Yeah, 2 keys and the big key in the front is pretty uncommon, definitely. But we're looking for items anyway, so it doesn't matter, right? He's still gonna full clear. It doesn't matter where the keys are. And clearly the cane locks the hookshot, right? So everyone has to full clear. There is no not full clearing. I guess you could like kill Pendant Vitreous before Turtle Rock, but no one's gonna do that. Aw, Samus becomes a little Metroid. That's so cute. Is that consistent with the plot of Metroid, you guys? I'm not super familiar with Metroid lore. Is Samus a Metroid in disguise? I didn't just spoil Metroid Dread, did I? By accident? Did I guess it? Is that what happens? Ultimate twist. Still nothing here through Turtle Rock, but we have many items left. I think 4. Oh, hey, nice sword though. There's our blue mail. That'll be the only mail upgrade we find. Yeah, free tempered sword, for sure. To be honest, I've only ever played Super Metroid, and that game doesn't have a lot of text boxes. And even if it did, I probably would have skipped through them. So, the lore of the game is completely beyond my understanding. Always the last one. Even when you're trying to make it not the last one, it's the last one. But no progression. Have you guys noticed? The seat is, kind of awful. Don't you think? A little bit? We already went to left side swamp, though. We have already been there. Alright, here it is. Is this it? Is this the answer? Was it just on Trinex? Nope! Oh my. Alright, for those keeping track, literally the only locations left in the entire game for Jet to find this elusive hookshot are on Pendant Vitreous himself and Pedestal. So honestly, even if Jet hadn't skipped the Ice Rock Cave, even if Jet hadn't skipped Terror Basement, he probably would still be in this position right now. He'd be here, you know, slightly faster with like Kane and Ice Palace and all that, having the flute for getting around quicker. But he'd still probably last locate going into Mire for this second item. He could have had Kane for a while. Yeah, but he wouldn't have done Vitreous, because he would have gone to Turtle Rock first. And, like, comparing them, Ice Palace looks, like, 4-item Ice Palace with the Cane looks way better than 2-item, Pendant Mire. So like even in the situation, like you would expect other people who didn't skip the same things that Jet skipped probably still would have last located this dungeon. But yeah, they would have last located it faster, I guess. Yes, the objective of the game is to save the world by defeating Ganon. Did they call him Ganondorf in Link to the Past? Or did they didn't add that until Ocarina of Time, right? I think it's just Ganon here. Oh, it's in the manual. Interesting. Yeah, I think typically, like, he's called Ganondorf in his Gerudo form and Ganon in his pig form. And we don't really see him in his non-pig form. Double dipping Meyer probably doesn't hurt him as much as you'd think, though, because the items are the cutscene chest and the boss. So, I mean, like, most people would do the cutscene chest before the boss when you're one item from go mode. Oh, don't die to Vitreous Stone Jet, please! Use the cane or something. Oh, this is terrifying. Ugh. Okay. Alright. None of the lightning's got him. The lightning has a fair amount of RNG to it. It can reach all the way across the screen. So even standing up against the wall, you're not completely safe. It wasn't on Vitreous! Well, chat, we only have one place left to go. And I imagine Jet is going to go to Skullwoods first here. Yeah, so we can see Jet. Jet still needs to go kill Mothula. And Mothula's right next to the pedestal. Might as well do them at the same time. Not exactly a time save, or it doesn't make up for the death earlier, but, making the best of a bad situation. Saving time where you can. Yeah, it's pretty well documented, guys, that the Link in this game is the strongest Link of all the Links. No other Link is as good as Link to the Past Link. Or Samus, as it were. Link to the Past Samus is the strongest of all the Samuses. Alright, Mothula, round 2! That was much easier. Ganondorf Dragmire? Wow. What should we name our son, honey? Oh, I don't know. How about something evil? Ganondorf Dragmire. really setting him down his path in life real early there. Hey! It's the hookshot on pedestal. Thanks, game! What a wonderful game. Alright, that is go mode for Jet and everyone else. There is no way that is not your go mode item. What a mess. What a mess this seed is. Oh yeah, sure. Hovering in Hookshot Cave lost all the time this seed. It's probably a sword or something. Well, I believe that Link to the Past is the excuse me, is the only Zelda game where you fight Ganon while he's in possession of the full Triforce. So in Link to the Past, you fight the maximum power Ganon in his own realm, right? This is in the sacred realm that he has twisted to suit his needs. And in the lore, it says that he defeats him permanently. So how is this not the strongest Link, right? Pretty much no reason to check those chests. You can still find silvers, but it's not going to save much time from here to the end. Like, I think if Jet knew the silvers were in one of those chests, he would open it. But because it's just a chance, it's not really worth it. What do they call this Link? I can't remember. Like the one in Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask is called the Hero of Time. What is the Link's Past one? Is it Hero of Legend? Something like that. The Samus Link. Yeah, that'll do it. Alright, that is Crystal number 7, chat. Crystal number 7, we are headed to Ganon's Tower. In Ganon's Tower, there are 22 item locations, one of which will contain the big key that Jet needs to finish this seed. If you'd like to guess where the big key is, now is the time to do so. Get your guess of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, or 22 in the chat right now. I think you can make another case for this Link being OP because of the Butter Sword. The Butter Sword, relative to the Master Sword, is the strongest weapon ever in all Zelda games. And then silver arrows are just like icing on top of that. I might be biased though, you guys. I play this game like 40 hours a week. So maybe take my opinion with a grain of salt. The legendary hero. I like it. Alright, how are we routing GT today? Going over to Hope Room first. But not finding anything. I think the green 20 is specifically a sword. So yeah, there was not another sword to grab. You had to get those 3. There is our cape. And all the small keys. Well, 3 of them anyway. Or cape could, yeah, cape could have been on Ped if there was something on Bumper Cave. It should have been on Bumper Cave. But we had seen Bumper Cave earlier. Yes, unfortunately, Andy forfeited about 40 minutes into the race because his console exploded. Some parts of the story may have been exaggerated. Are we on 14? I don't know. Are you guys not counting? I wasn't counting. I never count. You can't blame me. Look, I have so much to pay attention to on this screen right now. I can't be bothered to count locations. You know how hard it is to keep up with one runner playing the game? Super hard. No! He got away! Alright, he has plenty of arrows, so he's fine. Okay, 15, 16, 17, womp womp. Yeah, but it's not like I pay attention when I'm playing the game either. Yeah, I know, right? I'm not even tracking. We have Arturil doing the tracking. I just sit here and talk. I'm all alone. There's no one here beside me. Excuse me, Gippos. Oh my god. Oh my god! Why, yes, this is the last qualifier for SJ Live. Why do you ask? Fitting. This is so fitting. Oh yeah, he does sing that song in Shrek, doesn't he? I didn't even think of that. Alright, I'm scrolling up, and I don't think anyone actually guessed 22. Wow. Well, Cirx said, at this rate, it will be 22. Oh no, here it is. Okay, he did guess 22. Cirx, congratulations, you guessed correctly. It was chest location number 22. I thought it was just a song. I probably heard it there too, Brewers fan. JP. But I separated the two in my brain. Andy forfeited about 40 minutes in. He had just finished Eastern Palace and was getting the item off the boss when burp. So he lost that whole dungeon. Yeah, it was well before we found out what a terrible seed this was. Alright, Jet making quick work of these gauntlet rooms. He's on pretty low hearts, but I don't think he's too worried. Okay, you might be a little worried. Yeah. Unfortunately, if spending the extra time in that room changes the timing for these guys, it makes it a lot harder to get the 1 cycle. He got a bunch of damage in, though. He might be able to get the 2 cycle. Oh, with the short hop. So rude. Well, the problem is not skipping Harrow Basement doesn't save you, right? Because like, say Jet doesn't skip Harrow Basement and he has the cane earlier. Yeah, he goes to Turtle Rock immediately, but that's empty. And now you're like, okay, well, do I go to 4-item Ice Palace that I can do in logic with the cane, or do I do 2-item Mire and you do Ice Palace? It's nothing. Then you do Mire and it's also nothing. So everyone does everything in this seed. There's no getting saved. And with no book available, it's not like somebody could have checked pet early anyway. But yeah, it would have been a better clear, right? He would have gotten to last location sooner, right? Not double dipping Mire, not having to come back up the mountain, etc., etc. But honestly, like, I don't think Jet's gonna get a really bad time here. Even though, like, he did all the wrong things, all the right things weren't good enough, right? So, oh, there's the book. So he'll probably still have a pretty competitive time. Down goes Moldorm too, and we're headed to our final check. Just for good measure. Not silvers. Yeah, a fair number of forfeits in this race. I mean, it makes sense though, right? Because if this is your 5th race, right, so this is your 5th race, you did okay in your previous 4, you're pretty much guaranteed to get in. so it's okay if you have to forfeit. So, you know, people are more inclined to make gambles or do something silly, and when it doesn't pay off, it's like, oh well, I'll just forfeit. No big deal. I don't know if that's what happened in all 10 forfeits, right? Like, that's not what happened to Andy, specifically. But, you know, I'm sure somebody did something silly and just said, ah, screw it. Or maybe, like, went to the normal places and their options were like, okay, well, I can go Ice, Mire, or Graveyard Ledge. I'm just gonna forfeit, right? Alright, Ganon, let's go! When I conquer the light world. No, I can't read that fast yet. Aw. I was trying to read that. I wasn't counting, but that felt like 12 slashes. Yeah, there we go. Phase 3. No, we did not find the arrows in the light world. Even though we full cleared the game, thanks, Ganon. I guess they're on a tablet or something. I guess shovel is also a possibility. Spin to win. Just a few more hits. And that'll do it. Alright, everybody. GG for Jet082. He has saved the world. GG! Alright, let me pull up the finish list here. Let's see. Jet finishes 8th. 8th overall. After full clearing the game and skipping all the things, Jet still finishes 8th overall with a time of 1:52:06. Just 8 minutes behind first place. Well, like 7 minutes behind first place. GG Jet. And we're joined. Hey, Jet, GG.
Hey, oh.
Wasn't that awful?
GG. The scene was not GG, but sure.
Wasn't it the worst? You did
it
all the
makes me
worst
retire.
things too.
Like, I sort of just like take a year to break. I don't know. Wow, that was nearly a 2-hour seed. First place got so 145.
This was so bad that you made every worst possible decision and still got 8th place.
Yeah, thanks. It makes me feel better. Honestly, I really thought about doing Basement Hera while I was there the first time, but like Death Mountain was so tempting. I had so much really more open to me. I'm like, I ain't gonna waste time with a tile room in Basement Hera. What are the odds?
Well, it was like you skipped it the first time. I thought that made sense. That was a fair play. But then when you came back for Spike Cave, I was like, why isn't he doing Hera Basement now?
After I checked the right-hand side? Yeah, maybe.
Like, everything on the mountain was just nothing.
I think I had ice at that point, right? Is that what I did next? Because it's still...
you had Smith Sequence and Tameless Pendant Ice. Those are not good options, though.
No, I just wanted to chase numbers rather than time. But in retrospect...
I agree. Those locations are definitely more likely than Hera Basement, but Hera Basement is so orphaned otherwise. So I
definitely could have shaved off like at least 5 minutes if I had done it while I was there, because I probably would have done the same route. Like, it would have given me cane, so I would have done Turtle Rock while I was there. But there's nothing in Turtle Rock, so it would have went back to the same thing. I would have did Overworld, then I would have did dungeons, or maybe I would have prioritized dungeons because it was in Logic now. Like, all of the pendant dungeons were possible, so there's a chance I would have done Ice rather than Overworld. I'm not sure, but it would have saved time because I had to climb back up the mountain.
And because of how terrible the seed ends up being, it didn't hurt you that bad, right? Like you lose time because your ice was slower, and you lose time for skipping the flute because you had to walk more, I guess. But because the seed was so bad, everyone last locations that hookshot, no matter what.
Sure, chat loved it. We got a head seed, a tile room seed. I mean, the only thing to make it worse was if Aghanim was required as well. Like, that's it. There's nothing else that could be done. I'm at like a 1 when I was before I got go mode, sitting at 130 or so. I'm waiting for someone to dot down. I'm like, no way, this is not happening. And like, while I was in Turtle Rock, I'm like, someone's got to be finished now. If Hookshot's here, and I'm like, maybe Hookshot isn't here. Maybe because it's Redemption. The best thing for me was Hookshot to be at Ped, because that you saw what happened to the times.
Yeah, I mean, if Hookshot had just been in Turtle Rock, you would have expected somebody to finish like closer to like 125.
Yep.
Because you just skip everything. You don't do Smith Sequence, you don't do Ice, you don't do Mire, you don't do Pyramid Catfish. You just, go to the dungeons. Oh, look, we're done.
It's the same Andy had to forfeit, though.
Yeah, that was unfortunate, definitely. I'm over here on solo comms, and one of my 2 runners isn't even here either.
It was more of a how not to do a seed. I showcased that. I hope you all enjoyed that. Here's how to check every single thing in the seed and still not get silvers, no less.
Yeah, we have to think they must have been on a tablet or something.
It couldn't even give us that. Like, here, have silvers for your trouble. Nope.
Now, the other skip you made was Ice Rod Cave, and I think that was definitely a much more justifiable skip than Hair Basement. It was just unfortunate that it ended up being the flute.
So I would have went either way. When I went into Mini Moldorm and I got my Dark World access, I'm like, hey, I could just run up and check out High Cave right now. Or I could have continued, because I think I had enough rupees then.
Oh yeah, you had like 700 rupees.
To go over, do Ice Rock Cave and Zora stuff, and I just opted to do Dark World. Like, I prioritized Dark World instead.
Yeah, that's totally
unfortunately
fair.
Hurt, but I don't think it hurt very much.
Yeah, it was just like you didn't flute around as much earlier.
Right, yeah. I lost time having to run everywhere, but honestly,
the flute didn't lead to anything, so it was fine that you didn't get it right away.
Right. It was all for that pendant mire.
I was really concerned when you went to Ice before Ice Rod Cave, because I would have expected you to do Ice Rod Cave first on the off chance that you get to skip Ice.
Yeah, in retrospect,
I thought maybe you just forgot about it, but you did go right there right after Ice was empty.
Yeah, again, I was looking for item density. I didn't have cane at that point, so it's like, I should have done Ice Rod Cave first, and getting flute, it actually would have taken me away from Ice for a bit. I still would have been back. Like, I'm going to do that before Harrow Basement.
Oh, definitely.
That Harrow Basement. That's what killed it and saved it at the same time.
Yeah, Harrow Basement was the turning point in the very first qualifier for SG Live this year, and now it's going to be another turning point in this one, although a very small one, as it turns out.
This is the last qualifier, right? Like, this is how we end, with a whimper of a seed.
Yes, a tile room ped seed, where the second comm, I think Bob just messed up and forgot to show up on time, and our second runner had to forfeit early on. What a day!
It can only get better, guys. Definitely watch as we transition to the what is next. I forget what the phase is called. I guess brackets.
Yeah, I think they're doing brackets. I don't think they're doing groups. Are they?
Yeah.
Are they doing groups?
I don't think we're doing groups.
I don't know. There's a sheet somewhere. Let me see.
Oh, I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, brackets is next. It's going to be the top 128, and they're going to go down to the top 32.
That's a lot of brackets. 64 brackets.
Yeah.
Oh, and webcams will be required Are you prepared for this?
Are they? It doesn't say that in the doc.
It does. It says it's the second line in the
Oh.
brackets format header.
They're optional for qualifiers. Well, I guess I'll be ready. Luckily, they gave instructions for how to do. There is a free alternative if you have an Android phone. I think also
really?
iPhones have it. But I have an Android and I use something called Droid Cam, and I just USB, it hooks up to my computer and it gets the webcam, so I don't have to go buy a webcam. Although I've been thinking about picking one up, but it's a little too late for that. I could probably order one.
Yeah, I mean, unless you like use it all the time, it's not
Right.
really big deal. I own one. Like, I need a webcam for my job, but most people.
So it is nice that they have a free alternative, so it's not like we have to spend money for that.
For sure. I was thinking how much more fun would this have been to see your face on cam when you find the flute.
the flute?
Well, yeah, because when you find the flute, it's like, oh my god, that's the answer. It was the flute all along, right? And then you go check the flute things, and you're like, oh, actually, no, it wasn't the answer. We're good. Everything's fine.
You should have seen my reaction. First, Hera basement, when I pick up Kane, I had a defeated look. And then, while I'm like halfway through Turtle Rock, I just start laughing because of how ridiculous the seed is. So that
and no one's finished.
No one's finished.
There's no finishers. How is no one finished?
Like, despite doing everything wrong, and I still was in GT before the first dot done.
Alright, I think that P-Train has the unofficial scores ready. Let's see, where is Jet? You are 16th. 16th.
Well, that is a huge bump up.
That's not bad, man. 16th. Congratulations.
I was 27 before today, and after this wonderful seed, best seed, highly recommended to play this one.
Alright, so what you're saying is that everyone everywhere should always literally last locate go mode.
Yeah, no, always pull pad.
That's
always
the thing to do, guys. Alright, you heard it here. Always last locate, always pull pad.
Oh.
Tile room first.
Tile room for. I almost did that while I was walking over. I'm like, I should just tile room. It's gonna be here.
That would have got you a couple positions, I think.
I so wanted to do it, but I'm like, no, just play real.
I think you would have got second place with that move.
No, because I did left hand side. Unfortunately, I didn't do the Dark Magician strats, so I still would have done all of the left hand side.
Yeah.
So I only would have saved maybe, I don't know, a minute. So would have made up for that Mafia death.
For sure. Yeah, that was really important. We didn't talk about that. Do you regret going into Skullwoods immediately?
No, I regret playing bad. I'm usually okay against Mafia, but he just had he like bumped into me early, and then my hammer hitbox. By the way, guys, if you're not familiar, hammer hitbox is like the worst thing in this game. So I think he was one hammer hit away, and unfortunately, just where he was and where I was hitting, like,
yeah, very unfortunate.
Missed. So usually I'm okay. I haven't practiced Fighter Sword Mafia in a while, so I'll probably do that for the tournament.
We did get to see Andy do Skullwoods, but he chose to do Village of Outcasts first. So when
we're trying to get him the Master Sword.
Yeah, he had Master Sword. I don't think he had any extra hearts, but the Master Sword definitely is a nice thing to have in your back pocket. But he actually did the hammer only fight, and it went super well for him. But here's the amusing thing: is Andy, because he went to Ice Road Cave and the Waterfall Ferry earlier, he threw in a bottle for a fairy.
Oh.
So when he went back into the back of Skull to get the bridge chest, he death warped with the fairy.
Okay.
So there was time to lose, even if you have a really good moth fight.
Yeah, I don't usually, if I have hammer as my access to Dark World, actually, I pretty much always do Skullwoods first. That's just my route. Unless I have a very compelling reason to go into Village of Outcasts, but that's rare. So I don't usually check that out, especially with a hammer star, because I mean, it's not so bad with boots because you could just dash through the bushes to get down there, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm usually okay.
I usually go the other way. If I have the hammer, I often do skip in front of Skullwoods because my thought is there's no danger in going to Thief's Town. Like I'm not.
Yeah, it's pretty
I'm not
much.
concerned.
Especially, it's
about
nice
skull.
when it's a crystal.
Yeah.
Not that it matters this seed. All the dungeons matter, but yeah. Usually I'm okay with Fighter Sword Mothula, and I decided to do. I don't actually usually do hammer strats. I usually just do Fighter Sword because if you
Sure.
can get him in the corner, you can get a couple of good hits in. Plus with the Fire Rod, that saves you some time. Like it's really not that bad, and he did move down quickly for me. But I'm like, oh, I should use hammer. It's faster, and I didn't practice that very much, so that was bad.
Yeah, you just well, on so few hearts with Green Mill, you had such a small margin for error, and Mothula has a large margin of screwing you over.
He does. His shots do 2 hearts of damage. I think running into him does 2 hearts.
Yeah.
The spikes do 1 heart. Like you're taking a lot of damage, and the spikes are 1 heart no matter what, even with blue mail.
Yeah, and then, with the conveyor floor, you have so little control. You have to constantly be reacting to everything. There is no consistency in the fight unless you have boots and tempered sword.
Yeah.
But, yeah, even dying to Mothula, last locating everything, we still get 8th place here. Jet gets 8th place. We don't get 8th place, chat. It's only Jet. Sorry, chat.
No, you guys can be included. We all get 8th place collectively. Or 1st place if you really enjoyed the seed.
Definitely. But that was one heck of a race. Thank you so much for not quitting the race early on us, because then I would have had nobody to watch.
I don't know what you guys would do in that situation.
I guess we just end the stream. I don't know.
I actually
we
even
didn't get a backup runner. I thought we'd get a backup runner.
Even my practices, I don't even forfeit usually. Except I had one practice. I think it was on Sunday or something, where it was just so bad. I don't even remember exactly. It wasn't as bad as this, but there was something I skipped, and then it just dragged me down.
Yeah.
Like I don't feel like once I finally picked it up, I'm like, all right, I'm good. I don't need to go through Ganon's Tower at this point. I don't usually do that. I will usually finish no matter what. Especially when it's a qualifier or a bracket or something. Like I'm in it to the end, like regardless of what happens, unless the other person I'm racing against finishes.
Yeah, I'm
but
with you.
A qualifier,
I'm
not going to forfeit. I'm just going to stick it out to the end, unless I skip something really bad and I really can't figure it out.
Yeah, I'm with you. I usually don't forfeit unless it's by my own design. It's something that I can blame on myself rather than it just being a bad seed. Because you get bad seeds. That's just part of the game.
Yeah.
And this one was definitely a bad seed.
Well, good to get it out of the way, and now we only have good seats from now on.
But I think that about wraps it up. Not much else to talk about here. So again, thank you so much, Jet. GG on your finish, and good luck in the brackets.
Thanks.
Everybody, get your GGs there for Jet. We really appreciate him, and Andy as well. Even though it didn't really go his way today with the console exploding. But I believe he also will qualify to brackets regardless of the finish today. And thank you to Arturil for tracking for us, even though apparently you had a super easy job today. Just one runner to watch. And thank you, chat, for watching. Really appreciate you. And we will see you next time here on SpeedGaming. Goodbye, everybody. See you later.